We model this core region as one solid domain in COMSOL, but is that really correct? A real transformer core is not a solid block of steel. It is made of many thin electrical steel sheets insulated from each other to reduce eddy current losses. So in this video I want to show you how COMSOL can represent this laminated structure without actually drawing and meshing hundreds of individual sheets. We will explore the laminated core feature, understand its most important settings, and then apply it directly to the 2D transformer model that we created in one of my previous tutorials. So let's get started. In my previous transformer tutorial, we modeled the core using its nonlinear magnetic properties. This is perfectly fine for many studies. But if we want to represent the fact that the core is actually laminated, COMSOL gives us a more specialized option. This feature has been available since COMSOL version 6.3. The important point is that COMSOL does not require us to create every individual steel sheet. Please notice that modeling individual sheets is a disaster from the aspects of meshing and computational burden. Instead, COMSOL replaces the complete laminated stack with an equivalent homogenized material. So instead of modeling steel insulation, and so on, we model one equivalent core domain that represents the overall behavior of the laminated structure. This keeps the model practical, especially in larger or three-dimensional simulations. Let's first look at the lamination model. Depending on the model dimension, COMSOL provides different options. The main options are homogeneous, out of plane, and direction-based. Let's quickly understand each one. With the homogeneous option, the core is treated as an equivalent homogeneous material. The directional effect associated with the orientation of the laminations is not explicitly included. So this is the simpler option. If the detailed orientation of the laminations is not important for studying, this may be sufficient. But if you actually want COMSOL to represent the laminated structure, the next two options are more interesting. The second option is out of plane. This one is especially useful in two-dimensional models. Imagine that our model is drawn in the XY plane. If the actual steel sheets lie in this plane and are stacked in the Z direction, then the stacking direction is perpendicular to our 2D geometry. This is exactly what out of plane means. And this is the option that we are going to use later in our 2D transformer model. So, an easy way to remember it is, if the laminations are stacked in the missing third dimension, use out of plane. The third option is direction-based. This is more general and is particularly useful in three-dimensional models. Here, we explicitly define the stacking direction using a direction vector. For example, 0, 1, 0 means that the laminations are stacked along the y direction. There is one important detail here. This vector does not point along the surface of the laminations. It points across the stacks. In other words, it is normal to the steel sheets. This distinction is very important when you are defining the lamination orientation manually. So very briefly, homogeneous gives us a simple equivalent material. Out of plane is very useful for 2D models where the sheets are stacked perpendicular to the modeling plane, and direction-based lets us specify the stacking direction explicitly. The next important setting is the stacking factor. This parameter has a very simple physical meaning. A laminated core is not 100% steel. Between the steel sheets we have insulation coatings and small non-magnetic gaps. So the stacking factor tells COMSOL what fraction of the total laminated volume is actually magnetic steel. For example, if I enter 0.96, this means that approximately 96% of the core volume is electrical steel. The remaining 4% represents the insulation and the small gaps between the sheets. If you know the steel thickness and the equivalent insulation thickness, you can estimate the stacking factor approximately as steel thickness divided by steel thickness plus insulation thickness. In practice, however, it is usually better to use the stacking factor provided by the core or lamination manufacturer whenever it is available. The next group of settings defines the magnetic behavior of the steel itself. This part is very similar to what we already see under Ampere's law, so I will keep it short. The main options include relative permeability, BH curve, and effective BH curve. Relative permeability gives us a simple linear magnetic model. The BH curve allows us to include nonlinear saturation, and the effective BH curve can be useful in frequency domain analysis, where we want to approximately represent nonlinear magnetic behavior. For our transformer model, I want to preserve the nonlinear behavior that we used before, so I will continue using a BH curve. Now we come to one of the most interesting parts of the laminated core feature, the loss model. There is one important concept to understand first. Because we are using a homogenized core, COMSOL is not necessarily calculating the detailed eddy-current distribution inside every individual steel sheet. Those individual sheets do not exist in our geometry. Instead, COMSOL allows us to estimate the magnetic losses using equivalent loss models. Two important options are Steinmetz and Bertotti. There is also a user-defined option. The Steinmetz model is a relatively simple empirical approach. The core loss is described as a function of quantities such as frequency and magnetic flux density. The exact coefficients depend strongly on the electrical steel, so these values should ideally come from manufacturer data, experimental measurements, or curve fitting. The main advantage of Steinmetz is simplicity. If you have measured core loss data and want a compact model, Steinmetz can be a very practical choice. The Bertotti model is more physically structured. Instead of describing the total loss with one equation, it separates the loss conceptually into three components. These include hysteresis loss, classical eddy-current loss, and excess loss. This is useful when we want more physical insights into the loss mechanisms. One interesting parameter here is the lamination thickness. The classical eddy-current component depends strongly on the thickness of each steel sheet, and this makes perfect physical sense. Thinner laminations restrict the eddy-current paths more effectively, so this is a good place to distinguish two parameters that may sound similar. The stacking factor tells us how much of the total core volume is actually steel. The lamination thickness influences the eddy-current related loss calculation. They are not the same thing. We can also select user-defined. This can be very useful if we have detailed manufacturer data. For example, if the manufacturer gives us measured core losses at different frequencies and different peak flux densities, we can create an interpolation function or our own fitted expression and use that directly in COMSOL. So depending on the available material data, this may actually be the most accurate option. So, which loss model is the best? There is no universal answer. If you mainly have empirical loss curves and want something simple, Steinmetz is a good starting point. If you have enough material information and want a more physically meaningful breakdown of the losses, Bertotti is very attractive. And if you have high quality measured or manufactured data, a user-defined model can be even better. Now let's look at stabilization. This setting can be confusing because it may look like another physical property of the core. But in most cases, it is primarily a numerical setting. COMSOL solves the magnetic field using the magnetic vector potential formulation. Under some conditions, especially in regions with very low or zero conductivity, the equations may become difficult to solve numerically. So COMSOL can introduce a very small artificial conductivity or an equivalent stabilization term to improve the numerical conditioning of the problem. As you may remember, in my previous transformer tutorial, I suggested adding a very small conductivity to the core region to avoid convergence problems. Well, it turns out that the COMSOL team had also the same idea, so I'm pretty proud of that one. And now with the stabilization option, COMSOL can take care of this automatically as part of the numerical formulation. The important point is this: the purpose of stabilization is not to model a real current in the core. Its purpose is to help the solver. There are also several options when it comes to stabilization. If you choose automatic, COMSOL determines the stabilization based on a characteristic frequency. In a frequency domain study, this is straightforward because the operating frequency is already known. In other study types, however, COMSOL may ask you to specify a typical or fallback frequency. So, for a transformer operating at 50 Hz, using 50 Hz is a reasonable choice, and of course, the same idea applies to a 60 Hz system. There are also a few other stabilization options. If you choose a skin depth, you need to specify the typical frequency and the skin depth. Width from material, COMSOL uses the electrical conductivity already defined in the material properties. And finally, with user defined, you can directly specify the stabilization value yourself. For now, I normally prefer the automatic option unless there is a specific reason to use something else. We should also avoid using unnecessarily large stabilization. If the artificial conductivity becomes too large, it can start affecting the physical solution and may introduce artificial damping or artificial losses. So, unless we have a convergence problem, I normally prefer to keep the default or recommended stabilization settings. And if stabilization becomes important for convergence, a simple sensitivity check is always a good idea. For example, calculate your result, then reduce the stabilization conductivity by perhaps 1 order of magnitude, run the simulation again, and compare important quantities such as magnetic flux density, inductance, current, and total losses. If the physical results remain almost unchanged, that is a good sign. If they change significantly, then the stabilization deserves more attention. Now, let's apply all of this to the transformer model from my previous tutorial. I am opening exactly the same COMSOL file, so the geometry, winding, circuit, mesh, and study are already prepared. We are only going to modify the magnetic core description. First, I add the laminated core feature, then I select the transformer core domains. Because this is a two-dimensional model and the laminations are assumed to be stacked perpendicular to the modeling plane, I select out of plane. This tells COMSOL that the lamination stacking direction is along the missing third dimension. Next, I enter the stacking factor. For this demonstration, I will use a value of approximately 0.96. Again, for a real engineering model, you should preferably use the actual stacking factor of your core. For the magnetic behavior, I keep the nonlinear BH curve. This allows us to preserve the saturation behavior that we already included in the previous transformer tutorial. Next, I activate the loss calculation. Here I select Steinmetz and enter the corresponding material properties. These are my parameter tuning. If you are using Bertotti, make sure that parameters such as the lamination thickness are consistent with the actual electrical steel. Finally, I check the stabilization setting. I select the automatic option. For this 50 Hz transformer, I use 50 Hz as the characteristic frequency under user-defined model. Now everything is ready. Let's run the same transformer simulation again with the laminated core formulation. We can see a similar plot for the inrush current of the transformer, telling us that the model is working good. And now, what about the core losses? One thing to notice here, if we simply look at the loss density in the time-dependent solution, we get 0. This is because the Steinmetz and Bertotti models do not calculate an instantaneous loss at every time step. There are a few additional steps needed to properly calculate and visualize the iron losses from a time-dependent simulation, and I'll cover those in a future video. So for now, we'll leave the core loss calculation here. Before finishing, there is one limitation that is worth remembering. The laminated core feature uses a homogenized representation, so it is excellent when we want to study the transformer at the device level. For example, calculating magnetic flux distribution, saturation, and core losses. But if your goal is to calculate the detailed eddy-current distribution across the thickness of one individual steel sheet, then this is not the appropriate approach. In that case, the individual lamination itself needs to be explicitly resolved, or we need an equivalent model that I cover in future. So let's quickly recap. The laminated core feature allows us to represent a laminated electrical steel core without creating every individual sheet. The lamination model defines how the laminations are oriented. The stacking factor defines the fraction of the core volume that is actually steel. The magnetization model defines the magnetic behavior of the steel. The loss model allows us to estimate iron losses using approaches such as Steinmetz, Bertotti, and a user-defined expression. And stabilization is mainly a numerical tool that helps the solver without ideally changing the physical solution. So, with only a few additional settings, we have upgraded our previous 2D transformer model to include a much more realistic representation of its laminated magnetic core. If you found this tutorial useful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to High Volt Academy. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next tutorial.